So, you're headed into a parliamentary round. You need to know exactly how to write a case so that way you can win the round and do an amazing job. So, how do you write a parliamentary debate case? Let's go through that. Now, it's important to know that in a parliamentary debate, this is sometimes referred to as impromptu style debate because you're getting your topics for the round as the round is starting, and you have 15 minutes right then and there to write your case. It's not anything that you're researching ahead of time. You're not preparing things ahead of time other than staying current with the news. So you need to be ready to write your case and understand all the different elements that you're going to put into it. Let's go through that. Now, in the video walkthrough of how a parliamentary round works, I showed you how when you go into a round, you've got your topics. The affirmative team is going to strike first, meaning they're crossing off the one that they do not want. Then this goes over to the negative team. They cross off the one that they do not want, and the one that's left over is the topic that you're going to be writing your case and debating on. So for instance, in this round, from the previous video, we already determined that the topic is "This House believes in today's modern world, a college education is no longer necessary to obtaining top-paying jobs." Okay, so the affirmative team is going to be advocating for this resolution. They're going to be saying, yes, we agree with this statement. A college education is no longer necessary to obtaining top-paying jobs. The negative team is going to be counting against it. They're going to be saying, no, a college education is still the most vital thing if you want those top-paying jobs. So the college education is key. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to define our terms. This is crucial in debate. Now, one of the things that you can take with you, pretty much the only thing you can take with you other than a pen and paper into a parliamentary debate round, is a dictionary. Go to Walmart, get just an inexpensive dictionary, have that with you, and that way you can define your terms with credibility. When you don't have a dictionary and you say, we're going to define the word as blah, 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 and the other team sees you're not using a dictionary, they can be like, well, where exactly is this definition coming from? Are you just defining things off the top of your head? That doesn't work. You need some credibility in your definitions. So which words do we need to define? Well, for instance, in the abbreviation, this house, what in the world does that mean? Are we talking the whole planet? Is that this house? Are we talking about the United States? Is that? Are we talking about people that just live in Oregon? Are we talking about Lane County? Are we talking about people in this high school? What exactly is this house? It is your job as the affirmative team to define what these terms mean. This house believes. So, this house believes, we need to define that. In the modern world, what exactly is the modern world? What do you mean by that? You need definitions to back that up. Otherwise, the negative team can come in and be like, they never defined modern world. We're going to define it as this. And if the affirmative team doesn't define the words, the negative team has the right to, and they can define it as something that puts your arguments out of the scope of the debate. Definitions are really important in debate. College education. What exactly does that mean? Are we talking community college? Are we talking university? What exactly do we mean? Are we talking bachelor's degrees? Are we talking master's degrees? Are we talking PhDs? What exactly do we mean by college education? Again, the affirmative team needs to set the perimeters for the round. It's the affirmative team's job to define those words. So they're going to look in their dictionary and say, we're going to define college education as blah, 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 blah. It's no longer necessary. Again, what does that mean? Obtaining top-paying jobs. You need to define your terms so that everybody knows exactly what the resolution means before the affirmative team can start preparing their case. So the first thing, again, when you're writing your case out is which are the words we need to define, and let's provide those definitions. So definitions first thing in your case. Now, a lot of people, we're going to get kind of confusing with this. In Lincoln-Douglas debate, a lot of people use a value. It's kind of, sometimes in debate rounds, there's a word that's a little bit confusing. In this resolution, you could say the the word would be, I kind of go necessary. What exactly does necessary mean? It's kind of a hard word to define. And so people try to put in values or criteria to help the judge to determine those confusing words. To me, this is a concept that's important for Lincoln Douglas. I don't really think it's necessary for most resolutions in parliamentary. You might hear your opponents try to do that. I don't think it's something that you really need to have. If you do have a value, you can use it, but it's nothing that's necessary, so I wouldn't worry about it at this point in time. Parliamentary, you can kind of do whatever you want. There's not like required things. Value is not required in parliamentary debate, regardless of what your opponent might try to say to that. So next we need our contentions. Contention is a key word in debate. So contention 1. Now, contention is pretty much just your argument. This is the first argument to support the resolution. But this isn't something you're just going to talk about amongst your, with your teammate. This is something you need to actually say. Contention 1 is this. And in order to do your contention 1, you need to quickly abbreviate what it is that you're trying to say into what we call a tag. This is a really short, small sentence that explains this whole argument. You're going to have 3 contentions by the end of it. Contention 1, contention 2, I always call them C2, and contention 3. Okay? So just like a regular speech, when you're coming with 3 main points to prove your topic, same thing in debate. 3 main contentions that will, again, prove your side of the resolution to be true. You need to say contention 1, and then you need to give a summary or a tag, because this is what the judge is going to write down. This is also what your competitors are going to write down. So you can't just say contention 1 and start, blah, 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 and go on for 5 minutes. You need a summary tag right there. So, for instance, your first argument may be many industries use certifications. So, for instance, the IT industry. If you want to work in the IT industry, you don't really need a college education. You need IT certifications that show you have specific skills in the things that the employers are looking for. They don't care if you have a bachelor's degree. They do care if you have your IT certifications. IT jobs pay top dollar, so this might be a good argument. But you're going to summarize it in this tag by saying contention 1, many industries use certifications. Okay, done. That's what you want to lead with in that first contention. Now, once you've presented that tag, you're going to then explain it in more detail. You're going to explain it. You're going to want to use examples. Again, IT industry being a good example there. So explain it, use examples. And finally, you're going to put down what we call impacts. Why does this matter? How does this impact anybody? How does this impact your resolution? You actually need to say the word impacts. These are our impacts for this argument. So the judge is going to be looking within your contention 1 for these specific things. The tag, what is it about? They're going to want an explanation, go into more details. They're going to want examples. Real-world examples make the debate a lot easier to do. And finally, they're going to want your impacts. So you're going to need these things for contention 2. All this comes to contention 2 and contention 3. So by the end of your case, you're going to have 3 arguments that have all of this. They'll help fill that in. So that is going to be your case. First, you're defining your terms. Second, you're coming up with your contentions that have the tags, the explanation, the examples, and the impacts. Once you have this, you kind of write it out in outline form, and then you will be ready to go with your case.